tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all.
LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Ziffy, I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SP, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
As we last left you on As the Birds Turn, Dougie had to pick between his wife and his side chick. His wife being the starting quarterback, Carson Wentz. His side chick being Jalen Hurts. Doug made the wrong decision. He picked his side chick. And everyone knows you never pick the side chick. And now, he has a meeting with Mr. Laurie, Papa Bear, and Uncle Howie. And they both decide that he should have picked the wife. So Doug Peterson was let go and is out looking for a new place of employment. As we last left you. Now we pick up with the wife. Carson being labeled as pretentious, bratty, unwilling to listen and learn. As the birds turn.
The problems run deeper than you'd ever imagine. The Philadelphia football team is at a crossroads. And not just at what to do with the quarterback position. They're at a crossroads with the ownership, what he should do.
As the birds turn.
It runs deeper and deeper every day, with no end in sight. And what is astonishing is the amount of leaks that come out of a building that is supposed to be such a tight-knit group.
Somebody is snitching.
Like, this is bad.
Is the lunch lady? Is the janitor?
Over the
Who is
weekend,
telling all these secrets?
bombshell report dropped.
Nuclear level.
Bombshell report.
Nuclear level.
And there's certain reports that come out that you just disregard.
Yes.
And then there's reports that come out like this.
Correct. On a Saturday morning, nevertheless.
Like you said, Dougie P had a meeting.
2 meetings.
And instead of saying what would have saved his job,
I need to get back my wife.
he went with the truth.
Yeah, he had more fun with the side chick. But the problem is, you just can't do that. You were married, and you went outside your marriage, which, people, I don't condone it, but people do that. But eventually, Doug, you got to go home. And you didn't want to go home. You wanted to keep staying at the side chick's house. You wanted to wife up the side chick. You can't do that, Doug. And that's why today you don't have a job. No good. But let's dive into the quarterback and what is going on here with all of this mess.
So, someone who is headstrong, type A personality.
Yes.
But has been coached hard his whole life. Known for pushing back against the coaches.
I think we're going to the same place here. I think you're going where I'm going with this.
Going back even to his college days. When he was the big man on campus.
Yep.
Despite it being a small campus, you're still the man.
Big fish, small pond.
Multiple national championships. diva?
I don't know an elite athlete that's not a diva. And, like, to me, this is much more an indictment on Doug Peterson and his ability to deal with a superstar personality than it is on Carson Wentz being a diva. Like, you're telling me that Josh McDaniels didn't have arguments with Tom Brady?
So,
I mean,
let me tell you a story real quick.
I like stories.
A friend of mine, obviously not right now because of the pandemic, but prior to this, traveled around a lot for work all the time. Travel everywhere, boom, 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 all over the place.
Yeah.
He was actually in Fargo, North Dakota, delivering a speech at something. I don't even really know what it was. I'm not even trying to be discreet to hide who he is. I don't really know. Somewhere, though, in North Dakota, he was speaking.
Yeah.
Wentz's mom was in attendance. Somehow she got word that he was a huge Eagles fan, and I'm sure a lot of athletes, family members they have this too, but apparently she just has like autographed Wentz merchandise like on deck at all times.
Which is there, yeah.
Just like on like just boom here. So gave him like a T-shirt, a hat, and like a trading card. A couple just little
couple
things.
trinkets.
And took like he has a picture with her to prove it. Now
Right.
I'm not, I've seen it before. Like it's legitimate. Like he has a picture with her. She had some not so flattering things to say about her son's competitive side to him.
Really?
That was kind of just like, they were just having a talk, and you know how like, moms, they'll just talk, whatever.
Yeah. Moms always say too much.
Yeah. She might have, and look back then. This is a couple. This is when Wentz is still Superman.
17.
Yeah, 17,
17-ish,
18. I'd say 18, maybe into 19ish, something like that.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time frame, because it was the off season, and it was recently after the off season. So
Right.
I think it was following the back injury season, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so that's following 18. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was right around there, like that off season sometime. And his mom, he was like, I love the Eagles, blah blah blah. I love your son, all this stuff. And his mom was like, yeah, he's a hard worker, all this stuff. But I'm paraphrasing because I forget the exact words, but it was basically he's not the nicest person when it comes to being around in that atmosphere. And he's very headstrong and very stubborn, almost to his detriment.
Well, that actually, it's interesting you said that. 'Cause that leads into a quote they got from a player.
And the thing is, looking back at it back then, you're like, of course it's his mom. Of course his mom thinks he's stubborn. Of course his mom, like she's had to deal with him. I'm sure it's not easy. Like him coming home from high school, I'm sure she's had to been like, okay, pipe down, like, let me shut your ego down.
Right.
But now, hearing that, you're like,
Yeah, I mean, and a player was quoted in the article, basically saying that Carson does not take responsibility for losing.
Yep.
Like he has a hard time. Like if he makes a mistake, that is the most damning thing on him. Like I don't absolve him at all for this. I think he is part of the blame. But like I said, I think this makes Doug look really bad, in my opinion. But so that's kind of how I feel. I feel like with Doug takes much responsibility, but however, Carson has to take a little bit of it also because that is a problem. And I want to spin off a little bit because I think people get weird talking negatively about Carson Wentz because of his faith, and it's like he's a Christian and he worships Jesus, so he has to be perfect and he has to be a good person. Let me tell you something. I was raised in the church. I am in fact a Christian, but I'm not like that. The way I'm not like the way the cookie cutter image of a Christian is. And I'll tell you something. The reason why I don't go to church a lot is because of people in the church. People in the church are some of like the worst kind of people.
Yo, it's really funny you say that because so I went to Catholic school my whole life, from kindergarten all the way through high school.
Yeah.
So every time I like meet new people, they're like, "Oh, you must have you must go to church all the time." Look, and I say, "Listen, you know why I don't go to church? Because I went to Catholic school."
Right. No, absolutely. Like, yeah, like it does. It is. That's so true. Like, I've seen some of the worst type of people, in the church community, and just because you worship Jesus doesn't necessarily make you a good person. That's not the truth, and that's not the case.
How about all those wild pastors on TV?
Right. I mean, and exploitation. I mean, we can go into a whole, thing about that. And
no, I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is out here being wild like that.
Right. And like the thing is, like, just because, like, again, I'm not even saying Carson Wentz is a bad person, but being a Christian doesn't make you perfect. Believing and being religious does not make you a perfect person. Doesn't make you a good person. You have to work every day, and he's going to have his flaws, and that's between him, and God and whatever. But as far as I can start, I think people have a hard time criticizing him because of that. They're like, well, he does all these amazing things in the community. He does this and that and the third. That has nothing to do with this. This is about football, and this is about how you are as a teammate, how you are being coached, how you can be coached. And in 2017, what worked is DeFilippo and Reich, it seemed to be especially hard on him, and they coached him the way he needs. People respond to things the way they respond to things.
You know what makes it hard though right now is that contract.
Yeah.
Now, what you need is one of two things. Now, I'll tell you, I'm going to go down path number 2 that I'm going to explain personally.
Okay.
But you have number 1, you have the established hard-nosed coach. Like, now I'm not throwing his name out there as a possibility, but think of a Bill Cowher type person. Mm-hmm. You bring in someone like that.
Yeah.
I don't know who it would be off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's people. There's people out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
A Mike Shanahan, someone like that. Mm-hmm. Just be like, and that who's gonna just be a drill sergeant to him.
Right.
And that has enough status that it doesn't matter you have that $100 million contract. It's very similar to what the Raiders did with John Gruden and Derek Carr.
Yes.
John Gruden came in and says, "I don't care if you have that $100 million contract."
Yeah.
Like,
and he's John Gruden, so he can talk. He could talk
exactly.
a different type of way. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, and another reason why I say this is mostly to me damning on Doug is look at the idea that your quarterback was audibling just because he doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally killing plays.
We'll get to that. Hold on.
Just to spite you.
I want to get to. I have something about that too. So save that for.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But so that's path A.
Yeah.
Path B, someone is the one that I would personally take.
Mm-hmm.
You go and find a long-time assistant who is same thing. You need the drill sergeant type mentality.
Yeah.
Regardless, so I would go get that that type of person anyway. But someone who's a long time.
Who's never been a head coach, or a long time who maybe had a cup of coffee somewhere?
I'm open with either or, whether they've been a head coach
Josh
or
McDaniels?
not. No, but I don't want him. But not him.
Okay.
Like, he's not. But like a person like that who, if say he fizzles out here, I mean, I'm not saying he will, but that even if he fizzles out here, he's going to get another job somewhere else.
Right.
Very similar. Like, I don't know anything about this guy's coaching style, but an Eric Bieniemy type. Like, that even, like, he's been he's the reason he hasn't gotten a job yet is because the Chiefs go so far into the playoffs every year that teams don't want to wait to have to interview him.
Right.
Like, if the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs or were like knocked out in the first round the last couple of years, he'd already be a head coach somewhere else. But teams don't want to wait. They want to jump and hire a coach.
Yeah, right.
And you can't interview a coach until their season's done.
Right.
You have 3 or 4 coaches who have already been hired.
Right.
His season's not done. He can't even – I mean, I believe you can put in a request and he can accept the request.
Yeah, the Eagles,
but he can't
the Eagles have
actually
requested
do
to interview him. I don't know. Does anyone else have? I can't.
Well, I know the Falcons did.
Maybe,
Now it doesn't
yeah,
matter
it doesn't,
now because
right,
they hired.
Right.
But I know that they did.
Yeah, I'm sure other teams have too. But like you said,
They want to get somebody in there so they
Right.
can start evaluating immediately.
Exactly.
It's not a knock against him. It's to his credit. Like his teams don't get knocked out early.
Yeah.
So that someone like that who, if Bieniemy came here, fizzled out, someone would hire him to be their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He would work his way, and then he'd get another option.
Right.
I don't know who that. Like I said, not Josh McDaniels, but a Josh McDaniels type.
Right.
So they're the two that I would go. I would personally go like the Josh, like not him, but that type of person.
You need a guy. Carson Wentz is a guy where you need a guy to coach him who has a pedigree. He has the guy needs to be someone that's done something. He's got to be able to say, and again, I'm going to use Josh McDaniels as an example, but he needs to be the guy to be like, so when I coached Tom Brady, and we were in the Super Bowl that I don't know fifth time, you got to have a guy that can talk to him like that.
You ever seen you ever seen the movie Draft Day?
I have not.
Okay,
well, that's Kevin Costner, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that, but I don't remember anything about it.
Okay, so the premise of it is that it's based very loosely around like the Johnny Manziel era draft.
Mm-hmm.
That the Browns have, this very high draft pick, and there's a chance to draft a quarterback. Everybody says he's a consensus number one, but deep down, the GM, who Kevin Costner plays, doesn't have any faith in him.
Yeah.
And they hire, the only reason he's the GM is because his dad was the former, legendary coach of the Browns. the Browns practice facility was named after his dad. But they went and hired a coach who has, had won Super Bowls in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, John Gruden won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, but a lot of people say that was Tony Dungy's team.
Yes.
And Gruden won it.
Mm-hmm.
The same concept as this coach won a Super Bowl, but it was with somebody else's team. And there's a scene where he's in the I think he's been with the scouts and the assistants and the personnel, the coaches. No players there. It's all staff and whatnot. And he's telling a story. He's like, well, in the 2008 Super Bowl when we were there, blah blah blah. And he walks in and he doesn't like they don't like the GM. He says something to him. He's like, well, what have you won? To the GM,
right?
He's like, I have one of these, and the GM turns around and goes, yeah, you won that off a team that was built before you got there,
right?
But you need that guy who can come in here and be like, yo, I got this on my finger.
Exactly.
You need the coach that can come in and talk like that, whether it's to the GM. Now, granted, your GM has a ring,
right,
so it won't necessarily work, but you need the guy that can come in and can talk reckless to whoever's in the building. The Ron Rivera in Washington, coming in and telling Daniel Snyder, I don't care.
Right.
I really don't care.
Right, and it holds weight.
I don't care that Dwayne Haskins went to high school with your son.
Right.
I'm cutting him.
Right. I know. I'm 1,000% in agreement. Let me ask you this: where is this leak coming from? Because Doug, you look at Doug, and it's logical to think that it was someone in a Doug Peterson camp that would leak something like this to make him look better moving forward. However, I don't believe this article makes him look good. I don't believe that. Now, there might be people that believe that. I personally don't. I think this is, like I said, more an indictment on him and his ability to handle a diva personality than it is on Carson. I don't think this doesn't surprise me in the sense that a lot of high elite athletes think this way. But because now, so you fire Doug, and the reason why you fired Doug, as it's now being reported, that it was largely because Doug wanted to go with Jalen Hurts and not Carson. That's the main reason why he got fired, which we talked about this last week. That's kind of what we were speculating anyway. But now it's being reported that that's what really the deal was. So if that's the case, you cut Doug out because you want to rebuild Carson, rebuild his confidence, get him thinking positively about the Eagles again. How does this build trust with your quarterback? Do you think he wants to open the paper up, the Inquirer up on a Saturday morning with his cup of coffee in his bathrobe and read that? Do you think that's the first thing he wants to see? Because people aren't going to think about this as level-headed as we are right now. Most people probably going to be on the side of, oh, Carson, get rid of him. He's a cancer.
I've been listening to a lot of local mainstream radio all morning. That is absolutely the reaction.
Yeah, because most people aren't level-headed thinkers. Most people are reactionary thinkers. And, I like to consider myself, and I think you are too, level-headed and are able to see both sides of the coin. And
the way that I break it down when I look at a sports team is the way that you just look at like a balance sheet. Figure out the assets, figure out the liabilities, and if it makes more sense, you keep what you keep and get rid of it. Everything in sports, to me personally, every decision should come down to that. I have no emotional attachment to any decision that happens in sport. Like, there's a reason why I only buy players' jerseys every so many years, because I don't become attached to them. Like, now,
you can't.
Now, I have a Wentz jersey.
Yeah.
But the last time that I bought a jersey before that was when they drafted LaShawn McCoy.
And we're going to sit here and act like Carson Wentz is the first quarterback to have a problem with his a backup quarterback with talent. Tom Brady's entered the chat.
How about the Brett Favre Aaron Rodgers saga?
At 1,000%.
And then how about Aaron Rodgers with any quarterback they draft?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Aaron Rodgers is a different cat altogether in and of itself. We're not going to even get into that right now.
Yes.
But it's
prominent. This has always been a thing.
And about that article, like I had said at the top of the show, there were some articles that come out and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like the infamous Santa Laquito article from 2019, I think it was, who actually blocked me on Twitter, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he blocked me on Twitter. I didn't even know. I popped on and I was like, all right.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
cool.
I'm blocked. But that, I felt like that one had a lot of opinion in it. Now, it probably had a lot of fact, but I also felt like it had a lot of opinion and a lot of assumption.
Yeah.
Like they trying to, I don't quite have all the dots here, but I can get close enough. I feel like he had a lot of that. This story, though, I'm not, do I think every single word is true? No, I don't think every single
This is a deep dive.
Yeah. Like
this was a deep dive, Law and Order SVU.
I'm not the biggest fan of the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dislike him, but I'm not the biggest fan. But he has two certain styles that he writes with. He has his everyday article that he puts out, and then he has this.
Yeah.
And when he puts out stuff like this,
yeah.
But where everybody knows, the world stops.
Right.
You read this story.
Absolutely. I mean, it was the first thing at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Now it's funny because he would send it to me, and I was like, I already read it. Yeah. I saw it pop up on the timeline earlier. I already read it.
Yeah.
Now I was scrolling through my phone yesterday, just looking at old pictures, just scrolling through. You're just bored sometimes just scrolling through, and I actually came across this screenshot from I believe it's the first week of Hertz's start. Hertz's first start, week 14, 13, 14, something like that. And it's after Hertz has that great play. He had a great first quarter, that first start.
Yeah.
Great, played very well the first half. Mm-hmm. And here's a screenshot I took, and I'll post it online, that I took of the TV that the camera's caught a little. I can't tell because he's wearing a mask. I don't know if words are being exchanged, but a look between Wentz and Doug Peterson.
Right.
And Peterson is just giving this look like, yeah, I wanted you to do that, but you can't. Now, I'll pass you my phone so you can see it, but like I said, I'll put it out. And it's like, look at that look in Doug's eyes.
Yeah. It's not a friendly look.
No. And Carson's glaring back at him.
Why couldn't you do this look? And listen, like I said, if But the thing is, Doug, you got a guy killing your offense because he refused to run it. Like, how is that being addressed? Were you like? 'Cause you never really saw confrontation with them on the sidelines. Like when they, and that's another thing that was always weird about the relationship too. Like usually, especially if something's not going well with a game plan, you see the coach go over to the quarterback and say, "Hey, what's going on, man? What are we doing?" Let's see a conversation. And if the head coach, let's the Patriots when they had Brady, Belichick obviously is not an offensive guy, so Brady's not going over to Belichick. He's going to McDaniels. And you've seen them go back and forth and have conversations where they're trying to figure out what's going on. You know, with Mahomes, you got Reed Mahomes will chat if something's not looking right. Or, you know, Reed Mahomes and Bellamy. Or Reed Mahomes, Bellamy, and Kafka. These guys communicate. When Carson goes to the sidelines after, you know, an interception or who does he go talk to? You usually just see him with the iPad by himself trying to figure things out himself. And you don't really see anyone around him.
Press Taylor?
That's what it's supposed to be.
You know what's funny? I don't even know what that guy looks like. Like, if you showed me him on the side.
A lot of you wouldn't even know.
No, like, if when they're like, you know, off quarterback, whatever his title is, you know, Press Taylor, and you show me him, like if you pan the sidelines, like there's certain coaches you can point. Like I can point out Jim Schwartz. I know who he is. You can point out Deuce Staley. You can point out Jeff Stoutland, you know, not here anymore. But, you know, there's certain coaches you can point out.
You know who they are.
I have no clue what Press Taylor looks like.
I can't really say I can't either right now. I mean, maybe if I saw a picture, I'd be like, oh, that's Press Taylor.
Like, I assume he just look. I assume every generic coach just looks like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean.
Or like Cliff Kingsbury. You know,
just insert face.
Yeah. I have no clue what this guy looks like.
Right. This is just I don't like we're back now. I thought this problem was solved with a Peterson firing of bringing Wentz back, but now we're back to where did we go from here again? How do we get back to where do we go from here? I thought I saw where we were going. We were going obviously they were moving on with Carson Wentz. They were going you know, to give him another shot at it. But now what?
Well, I don't.
What now? Because Carson Wentz cannot be happy about this.
Well,
because people are talking, and people are talking.
You know what would make
and snitching.
Yeah, you know what could fix this? If you could potentially bring in some free agents, turn the roster over a little. Oh,
can't do that.
Can't do that.
It's impossible.
I told you this situation is.
It's really bad.
I thought I had a good grasp on just how bad it was, like when we dove into it last week.
Yeah.
But
a week anniversary.
It's worse than we could have ever thought.
As the Eagles turn.
Like it's like the Philadelphia football team. This is not a desirable job.
It's not. It's not at all.
You know, it came out over the weekend. Joe Banner came out and said he's hearing in league circles who would want to come here.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
And you know what's crazy?
And like honestly, you like
how
the fact that here. Let me ask you this.
Sure.
So you're now going to interview for this job, and right away the owner. I'm sure Howie Roseman. They're both sitting there looking at you saying, "So who do you want the quarterback to be?" Well, we think. You didn't ask our opinion, but we think that Carson should be the starter. And if you're not okay with that, you can just go out the door right now. What are you supposed to say?
They had an 8-hour interview with Josh McDaniels yesterday.
Yeah. He was late night.
You know he came in there with a PowerPoint presentation.
Absolutely. He's a PowerPoint guy.
I bet you had a clicker, too. I
bet you
he brought his own clicker.
And honestly, Lori's so impressed by stuff like that.
He is.
He loves a clicker. He loves a PowerPoint.
Laser pointer.
I guarantee you 2.5 hours of that interview was Tom Brady stories.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Tommy,
we
had a code, bruh.
Well, it's not a good situation.
It's going to be so on brand for the Eagles to hire Josh McDaniels. So on brand.
And what's he going to do? He's going to draft a quarterback with the 6th pick.
Absolutely, Mac Jones.
Oh my.
Mac Jones coming in the quarterback factory.
Oh my.
We're a quarterback factory, Justin. You didn't know?
Oh, this is not good.
The factory.
This is the opposite of good.
Yeah,
It's
really,
terrible.
really bad.
It's terrible. Oh my.
The Eagles right now, I'm going to use one of my favorite words to use, incorrigible. The Eagles are completely incorrigible.
I'm so
Stuck in bad ways and bad
If
habits.
we had cameras, like
Yeah.
here, people would see how dejected
Yeah,
my face is right now. They
Yeah.
are not good.
it's not good at all.
The opposite of good and bad is not that. They're like bad. Calling the Philadelphia football team bad is an insult to bad teams.
Yes.
They're
Well,
incorrigible.
Yes. Well, that wraps up this episode of As the Birds Turn. Tune in next week to see what the next story of the saga will be.
Well, like, real quick before we just wrap it,
Yeah.
wrap up Eagles talk.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is it that Joe Banner, who is Lori's childhood friend,
Yeah.
was like Howie Roseman's more bulletproof than him?
Right. Yeah, I don't know
what does Howie have?
I'm telling you, they're the same person. I think they grew up similarly, and they're just the same person. Yeah, I think they're just kindred spirits.
Do you think
But
Howie?
could you see them? You know when whoever walks in for an interview, Howie and Jeff are sitting right next to each other, like probably eating like pliables or something, like a fruit bowl together.
I was gonna say,
Hey Jeff, pass the pineapple.
I was gonna say they're probably eating like a tuna salad sandwich.
No, they're not doing that. No,
I can see it.
I don't see them doing tuna salad sandwiches. They're
Oh, yeah.
definitely fruit bowl people.
No, I can see Howie eating tuna on white.
Yeah, I can see tuna on white. A tuna salad hoagie is way too alpha for him. He's not alpha. He's eating tuna on white, cut like triangles.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm. Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into Jacob Voracek being super salty.
This was great.
It was.
This was great and necessary.
Yes. Brad Emery in the morning. Marcus Brown, Justin Emery. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Marcus Brown. I want to talk to you today about Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality gourmet ice cream and sorbet. Made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available, Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road, Warminster, and is open year-round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let our friendly staff serve you one happiness, one scoop at a time. know the vibes. Brad Emery in the morning. Marques Brad, Justin Emery.
Yo.
Over the weekend, what an interesting weekend this was. A lot of drama in the Philly sports community.
This gave us some great topics. Some great content for today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jacob Voracek, in the press conference, asked a question by a reporter, Mike Selsky. There's history there.
Yes.
Selsky has said some disparaging things about Jacob Voracek repeatedly.
Yeah. Well, Selsky came on the record and said what he believes caused that response. And it goes back to an article that he wrote in 2019 where after a morning skate, the coach, Alain Vignon, or whatever, did I pronounce that correctly?
No.
No?
Continue.
That guy.
Did you go on Flaming Young?
I called him.
Move on.
No, I didn't. But I'm calling him that from now on, though.
Flaming Young.
Well, the thing is, he used to coach with the Knights, so I know. I'm calling. But his new name though is Filet Mignon. No, I called him Alay, I think.
Alay Mignon.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that guy,
Yeah.
Filet.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, had them all like around,
Yeah.
and informal, but talking to them. And Voracek and JVR were laughing and joking around.
Right.
During it, and he wrote, something. And this is all he came out over the weekend and wrote. This is all in record. So you can go back and read it, but I'm paraphrasing what he said. He was like, while he was trying to get them to focus, the other players were joking around.
Right.
And he took it as, well, first off, you don't know what he was saying. Mm-hmm. You don't know what we were talking about. You don't know you saw us laughing from, 80 yards away. So how do you know what we were laughing?
Right.
That's how he took it. Now, yep.
That's
not the only thing he said negative about him, but that's what Selsky has come out and said.
Well, in all fairness, Jacob Voracek has been getting it from all angles. Like he is one of the more polarizing Flyers. He's a guy who's been criticized a lot over the past couple years for his play. Sometimes there's been effort called into question with him. I remember the series a couple years ago when they played Pittsburgh, when they got completely destroyed. There was a big-time question effort. And it was, there was a period of time going into last season where when it came to Jacob Voracek, it was like, when it comes to Voracek, Simmons, and Giroux, they need to go.
Yeah, we have the clip right here. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah, let's get to it.
This is for Jake. 2 games in, Jake, how different does the season feel, if at all, given the circumstances of the offseason and the condensed schedule and everything?
Doesn't matter what I say, Mike. You're going to write. So it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, it feels different. We got 4 points out of the first 2 games. I wasn't even going to answer your question because you are such a weasel. It's not even funny. Next question.
Did somebody order awkward with the side of uncomfortable?
So the part that you heard a little stop, that couldn't play that over there.
Yeah, edit it.
Had to edit a little bit. But
he's upset.
Very.
He's upset.
Now, first off, let me say this.
Okay.
The writer of the story, Mike Selsky, I'm not a fan of this guy.
Okay.
But I also don't know if I would have went down this route. But I just want to say, this guy, I am not a fan of.
This is kind of where I want to go with this. I think it's an interesting conversation to talk about the relationship between media and player. And what are the parameters and the guidelines of how you cover someone and how the player should respond to criticism. Because at the end of the day, this is one of the few professions where people can observe you and critique you.
Well, here's what it comes down. There's several different tiers to this. So you have your national media who are going to treat players one way.
Right.
And the players are going to treat those people differently.
Right.
Some of that is because they know the networks that they work for that's big time. Secondly, they don't see them every day. So it's you're less likely to be mean to just a random stranger.
Yes.
So then you have your local people who are there every single day. Every practice, you see them, and some of the players even build rapport with them because they could be covering the team for 2, 3. You have players like reporters like Derek Gunn, who have literally been there for players' entire careers.
Right.
So, viewed differently. Then it's within each reporter how they interact with them. And I think more and more reporters are trying to become not combative, but confrontational with athletes.
Yeah, I mean, the landscape
more openly critical of them.
The landscape of the reporting has changed. Like the Les Bowens, Marcus Hayes types, where they were more comfortable kind of not being the story and kind of just covering the story. Like, I want you to read my article. I don't want to be the star. But
I know you didn't lump Marcus Hayes into that.
You think he's one of the ones who wants to be the star?
No, he is the worst of all of them.
Of wanting to be a star? Or
yeah, like he's like I will, any time he writes something, when I see his name on the byline, it's immediately etched in my brain to skip to the next story.
Let's do Kevin.
I won't even click.
How about
on
Kevin
his
Cooney?
Name.
That fair?
Somebody else.
Mike Kern. No, that's not good. That's not good.
No, they're both. They're the same.
Yeah,
they're the exact same person.
Yeah. So no, not them. Well,
let's go with.
Here's my point.
All right, here's someone that
here's a reporter.
I'll give you a reporter that not a lot of people like, but I really do. Jimmy Kemsky.
Okay,
we'll go with him.
Okay, so you have those two separate categories of reporters that want to be the story and reporters who want you to read the story about what they're writing about, and that's the story. And that's where the lines kind of get blurred because, like, guys like Stephen A. Smith, who's parlayed writing and becoming a star his own right. But the media is not supposed to be stars. And, you could look at stations like ESPN, who's made media members feel like we can be stars too.
Would you consider Stephen A. from the old school journalism?
No, I think he started to change that where I can be a star too.
No, but I'm saying, do you think at one point in time he was? Or do you think he was never really?
I never. No,
like,
I think he always was trying to be a star.
Like,
which works for him. It's not a bad thing. It's just that,
Here, gone are the days of the reporters that are
Stan Hochman.
I was going to say Ray Didinger.
Okay. Interchangeable parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Those are the old school.
I mean, granted, he's on TV, he's on the radio, but
now,
he's not out here being a star. He's out here. He's on TV. He's on the radio because he's breaking things down for you. He's not out here. Like, he's like, all right, what do you want to ask me? I'll tell you. Right.
I know. I'll stick with the late great Stan Hochman.
He's not being the entertainer. He's an informant.
I know Stan Hochman from his writing only. That's how I know him. Like, he would go on WIPA and stuff, but like, I know him from his writing and his articles. I loved reading his stuff. That's why I followed him. Stephen A. Smith was a guy who took a different path. And a lot of these guys now today want that path because it's a more glorious path. So you're telling me I get to write and say all these things, but I also get the notoriety, and people don't just look at me as a person who wrote the article. I'm the star that wrote the article. It's me.
Well, even like the guy that we talked about in the last segment, Jeff McClain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're in this weird area of you have that issue, but then you also have on the other issue too with players is, it's a different situation because this is one of the only professions where you can do something that I don't like, and I can write about it and place it in a public forum, and people can read it about how I don't think what you did was right. Like, that's not happening to the everyday person and stuff like that. But again.
But it comes with the territory, though.
Exactly.
Because you want that $30 million mansion.
Exactly.
You want all these other perks. Well, then it comes with it.
Yeah. Like, this is part of, and it's literally in your contract.
Like,
it's literally there.
Do you want to retire in your early 30s?
Right. And it's literally there. It's literally in your contract of you're going to have to deal with the media. And they're not always going to say things that you are into. Listen.
Like there's a difference between what Voracek did and like what Marshawn Lynch was known to do.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch just would literally not talk to the media.
Right.
And would just take the fine. He's like, I don't care.
Right.
I'll just take the fine.
Right.
But a lot of people that did talk to him always would say when he did give interviews, he was awesome.
Yeah. He
just preferred to be left alone.
He actually has a great personality.
Yeah, he
was awesome on Peyton's Places.
Yeah, he just did he just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah, he just wasn't. That's not what he's into. But
he would just take you have to do X amount of interviews. Fine, he would do it. He would show. I'm only here, so I don't get fined.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting with this situation because like I just feel like the lines between player and media is so blurred. And then also too, let me throw this into the pot. A lot of these guys that are players, they probably eventually after they retire are going to want to be in the media. So you're now going to start becoming. You're seeing that too, because like you look at like the Ryan Clarks, the Marcus Spears, guys like that who Kendrick Perkins, who were in part of this fraternity, and now they have to criticize these people. And then the line gets blurred again.
Sometimes they're letting secrets out that aren't supposed to be let out too.
Yeah, like
like I said, Kendrick Perkins.
Exactly. Yeah, because these guys, because it's when you're in that fraternity, you get privileges to things that the average person isn't privileged to. But now I can use these privileges to further my career in another avenue. So there's so many blurred lines between media and player. It's just and I just wanted to highlight that.
And I feel like it's in the NFL more than any other sport. Like I feel like in NFL coverage, I should say football. We'll lump college football in there too. Well, in football coverage, there's more former players than any other sport.
Yes, I would agree. It's a lot easier. I'll even clean it up even more. It's an easier path to media from NFL than any other sport.
How many guys go right from the football field into the booth? Yeah. And now I don't think either one of us sitting here our end goal is to ever be a play-by-play broadcaster.
No.
I don't think so either. But imagine someone that has been wanting to do that, has been calling high school games and college games for 20, and then you step off the football field.
Yeah.
Look at
Tony Romo. Now Tony Romo is exceptional at what he does.
Yes.
Honestly, I thought I would never see something better than like prime Madden, but he's incredible.
You know who else will be great the second they step in there is going to be Peyton.
Yes.
Now, and I would have no.
But who knows? But he's one where I don't know that's what he wants to do full time.
I don't think so either.
But Romo,
if he wanted to,
he definitely could. No question.
Drew Brees went into this year already with a deal with NBC when he's done.
Right. And
you have no idea how. I don't know if he's going to be any good.
Yeah. It's literally wait. I had no idea Romo was going to be good. Who knew Romo was going to be good at this?
I mean, and I don't know.
But it made it so much easier for Romo to retire. Because he literally had that deal on the table, and he could have played. He was 35 when he retired.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries.
I mean, he had a lot of injuries, but if he didn't have that on the table, he could have came back. But it made it easier to walk away because CBS is offering me multi-million to not get hit, and then it worked. It just worked out that CBS lucked into maybe the greatest analyst of our time.
Right.
In football.
I mean, this year
he's so entertaining to listen to.
Yeah, he wasn't
as much as I hated him as a player. I love listening to him because you know what he does. You know what I love about him is that he's great for the average fan. He explains the game. He doesn't make it too weird, and also too, you can tell he's having fun. It's genuine.
I don't
it's genuine. I'm having a good time.
I don't think he was as good this year as he was last year, but I guess he just also came out of the gate. He set the bar anymore. So
it's not fresh anymore. It's
but
what everyone.
If you listen to it, almost doesn't matter the station, what channel it is. Whatever channel you're watching, whatever game you're watching, you're almost guaranteed to have a former player on the broadcast.
1,000%. But you look, you talk about with Romo this year. Look at Aikman. Aikman was a guy that people loved, but now he's starting to face a lot of criticism. Now it's just I think people get wear on you, and it gets to the point where it's like okay, people get tired of him. I still like Troy Aikman.
I don't
have a problem with Aikman. No. I like Buck and Aikman. I don't know. I don't know what people are weird about them, but
I'll be honest, most of the time, like even unless an announcer is totally egregious,
yeah.
Even like the not the best one, they don't really bother me.
Yeah, I don't get caught up to it too much, but
one person though, there is one announcer though, former player, and I will drop his name, but who was just so bad during an Eagles game one time that I was just like, this guy's got to go.
Okay.
And he made now it doesn't matter that it happened to be against my team.
Yeah.
But just in general, he made an egregious announcer's, mistake, regardless of who it was. And that's Dan Fouts.
Ooh, you're old school.
So,
Fouts.
This wasn't that. This was recently he did it.
Dan Fouts still announcing?
This was at least with it. Well, wait till you hear the name he butchered, and you'll be like, all right, well, it had to have been fairly recently.
Yeah.
He refused to pronounce Vitae.
So, yeah, this is recent.
Okay, that's the name. He goes, yeah, his name begins with an H, and they call him Big V. I don't care enough to try to figure out how to pronounce it. He literally said that on the cast.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Your job is to know this guy.
That's disrespectful.
He was like, yeah, his name begins with an H, and he goes by Big V. I don't know how to say his name, so we're just going to keep moving on. It's literally what he said on the broadcast.
Yeah, you can't do that. Because the thing is, you got to do your homework. That's why I'll say I watched a story on Chris Collinsworth a couple years ago. I know he's another lightning rod guy, but the man studies.
Oh, he does.
He studies. The story.
See, the thing about
it
him,
gave me so much more respect than him because he really puts work into the craft.
He does, but the thing about him though is that I feel like he's too much like in like the old school club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he drinks too much of the collective Kool-Aid for him. Like everybody's not one of the best players in
right.
He's always like, this guy's. Let me show you. He's one of the best at doing that. No,
right.
he's not. Like
right. He's average at it.
Like as far as doing it as a human being.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, he is one of the best.
One of the best in the world.
Yes, but as far as doing it as a professional player,
right?
No, he doesn't.
Right. So I want to move on and talk about the playoffs this weekend. But before I I'm going to wrap this up for a second and just say it's just a complicated situation with the media and player. And I think it always will.
You know what else is interesting is now I don't want to open this can of worms at the end of this segment, but what does that do for certain teams, certain cities, and prospective free agents? Like if you see if you're I'm just gonna say you're pick Devontae Adams, okay? You're a free agent. You're Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Why would you – well, we can't afford you anyway, but if you could, why would you want to come to the Eagles? Like the Sixers reporters, what they say about Ben Simmons, why would you –
Well, Philly's tough. I mean, it's a tough city.
But it's not – I know. Again, it's not the only city like that. There are just some examples that come to the
Well, there's certain – yeah, but you're right. There's certain places you don't go if you don't have thick skin. If you don't have thick skin, don't go to New York. Don't go to Philly. Don't go to Chicago. Don't go to these main cities because, they're watching. They're paying attention.
And it will –
stay in Green Bay.
And I don't know – I mean, you can't really do anything about it, but from a front office perspective, like, what do you do?
Yeah. It's
like, what can – there's nothing he can really do about it, but what does Howie Roseman do about this Jeff McClain article? I mean, I get that he can't –
You're calling him.
Yeah,
definitely have the conversation, and then if it was me, I'm definitely having a organization, no players, but an organizational meeting. We need to talk about this. Get everybody on Zoom right now. We need to have a company wide meeting. We need to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah,
definitely. But I want to get in the playoffs this weekend because it was a fun weekend of football.
So we both went. Did you pick the Rams?
I had the Packers money line, but I thought the games would be close.
But when we picked them on Friday, did you pick the Rams?
I did not.
Okay,
I said the games. The game played out kind of how I thought it was going to play out.
I thought it was going to be closer
than it was, and the Packers scored a late touchdown to make it.
So we both went 4 for 4 with our picks.
Yes.
Now, one thing regarding the Packers game. What did I say last week when we gave out our awards? Aaron Donald could easily win this award.
Yes.
Now, I understand we do it on regular season only. Postseason should not come into play.
Right.
Watt showed up in his game.
Yes.
And it didn't matter.
Yes.
Aaron Donald could not, injured.
Hurt. Right.
Clearly hurt.
Yeah.
That should be the case for the Defensive Player of the Year right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think the Packers would have won, but I heard on a show this morning, imagine like being, he was like, I was on vacation, and he's like, I went to go like swimming like wherever he was at. He's like, don't swim here, there's sharks. He's like, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to jump off. We go to a different area. I was like, are there sharks here? He goes, no. He goes, all right, I jumped in and went swimming. He's like, when Aaron Rodgers looks and Aaron Donald's not there, there's no sharks.
I'm jumping in. Yeah,
I'm jumping in.
I'm in.
His jersey was so clean.
Yeah.
I bet you he didn't even have to wash it.
Yeah. I mean, and that you can't give Rodgers time. We all know that. And
no.
That was more the easier play of the week.
Yeah,
like
that
Rams
game,
couldn't
at no
compete.
point in time was that game even.
It was like I said.
It wasn't the most blowout game on the scoreboard,
right.
But that game was not really close.
Right. And then you go to the nightcap with Ravens, and I'm just gonna say this because I'm a firm believer in this. You cannot win a Super Bowl with a running quarterback.
Not a run-first quarterback, and it was on more display than ever there. Lamar just –
if running is the best thing you do –
he just can't –
as a quarterback, you will not be successful.
He just can't throw the ball well enough.
Right.
He made dramatic improvements.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Now you need to do it again.
The Bills didn't do anything complicated. They just played zone. They said, listen, here's a zone. Throw the ball around. But you're not running. It's not happening. And he had no idea what to do. So he's going to have to work hard at making throw. Like, he needs to go see Mike Vick because he needs to be 2010 Mike Vick. Yeah. That's what he needs to be. Because when Mike Vick figured out, okay, running, I could do that, but my arm needs to be the thing I do best.
Yes.
That's when things change for him. A little bit too late, but that's when things change for him. He needs that. But so that game was never really in doubt because I never really thought the Ravens were capable of scoring. Buffalo's offense wouldn't play that well, but again, it was very windy. It was cold, so
it was
bad weather. So they did what they had to do to get by, and I feel good.
All you got to do is win the game, right?
Right. They've played 2 games now where they didn't play their best offensive football and they won both games.
Yes.
So setting up.
Oh man,
we're gonna get into it on Friday, but here we are.
We got a matchup.
We want the smoke, baby. We want the smoke. Bills Mafia wants the smoke. So Sunday afternoon is, listen, how in the world do you take your $500 million quarterback and have him go around the edge on a 3rd and 1? That is one of the most irresponsible things I've ever seen from a head coach. Like, Andy, bro, you got to know
what
better.
are you doing?
You can't do the risk is not worth the reward.
And there was no doubt he had a concussion.
My
second
gosh.
he got.
You know what? I was watching the NFL with that because I was
curious if they were going to try to just shove him back in.
Yeah, because I'm telling you right now, I would have lost so much respect if they did that. Because listen, Patrick Mahomes is the face of your league. You want him in the game, and it affects the millions of dollars of betting, affects everything. So I was like, are they really going to try to send him back out here again? Like, if the NFL does this. It's going to go against everything they've been striving for and building this past couple years.
What I had heard more, because he didn't really get hit in the head. I didn't think he got hit that hard. But what it was reported, though, is it was more like that he got choked out and got thrown down on the ground than the actual hit itself.
Right.
Because if you see it, he gets grabbed around the neck and then brought down. They said it was more... he'd been put in a headlock.
His helmet hits the ground.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was it. But apparently he's doing okay. He was tweeting after the game.
I mean, he's going to play next week.
He has to. He has to be ready next week.
Like if he doesn't play, it could be real dark in Kansas City for them.
Yeah. But it's on Reed. You can't do that. You You can't put your quarterback in that position. You just can't. So
And then we had the
nightcap.
We had the AARP Bowl.
Right. But listen, Drew Brees, I want to give him his flowers right now. 80,000 yards passing, 571 touchdowns, second ever. He had a remarkable career, beat the odds, put New Orleans Saints back on the map. It's time to retire.
It's time
It's time to go. His arm, I was questioning his arm 3 years ago.
Now I'm not a Drew Brees fan in the sense of like I think he whines too much and all that kind of. But
I felt bad last night. I'll be honest.
I didn't care at all. I was loving. Oh, dude, I was loving it.
I know you did. When he was sitting there sad.
I didn't care.
Did you see the clip after the game of him playing with his kids?
Yeah, I don't care about.
I was like, I could never. I'm not mature enough now to do that. I would like, screw you all. I'm gonna be sitting over here sad.
That doesn't matter.
My career's over. I mean, I know, but like I know, I know, but I'm just. It was commendable that he was able to put it together, but that game didn't surprise me. I had Tampa Bay, obviously.
Like I said, I props to him.
Yeah.
You know, he has basically every record.
Yeah.
Now he might not, depending if Brady does in the coming years. He might not. And depends what Mahomes decides to do. He might not.
Right.
But right now, he does. He's the most decorated statistically quarterback of all time.
Yep.
He has his championship. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No question. And
this is the last time we will talk positively about him on the show.
He's lost his fastball.
Yeah.
He can't throw the ball down the field, and it was evident what Tampa Bay did. We're going to play man-to-man, keep our safeties in the middle of the zone, and then see what you can do, Drew. Couldn't get the ball, Michael Thomas.
Nope.
Couldn't stretch the field at all. Their biggest play was from James Winston.
Yep.
Everything else was dink, dink, dunk, doink. And, like, you're not going to do it that way. And it was too many mistakes, obviously. You can't turn the ball over 3 times. The one that killed them was a fumble. That was the worst. Because they were up 20-13 at that point. They were driving, and that's when it all fell apart. But, hey, goats are going to goat, and no arms are going to no arm.
That's messed up, but I love it.
All right, so that sets up Sunday, a great day of championship football.
Can't wait.
You got Brady versus Rodgers, and then you got Mahomes versus Bills Mafia. I'm excited. about this.
Friday to be Friday. We're going to only.
Friday's gonna be a fun
football,
show.
Football Friday.
Football Friday's gonna be a fun show. But listen, we're gonna do an abbreviated episode today in honor of MLK Day. No show tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday with all the abbreviated show because we got a big day, and you guys out there, I'm sure, know what that is. So we will be back then. You follow me at Marques B. Tweetin everywhere. Everywhere
at Justin Emery Show.
You follow the show at Brad and Memory Pod everywhere. And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you're never gonna stop us. Late.